How's it going, everybody? My name is Artorigold, and today I'm going over a D.va VOD somewhere around the platinum level, probably close to diamond. And so the things I want to talk about with D.va, there are a lot of ways you can play her. I think she's a very aggressive off-tank that works best usually with a Winston, because you both have really good mobility moves on low cooldowns, and you can kind of focus and dive a target really easily together. I think Winston works best with D.va, but Hammond can work as well too. They both have really good mobility, and I definitely think Hammond is more of a distraction tank than anything, but D.va can still work with him nonetheless. I don't think you need to focus on your defense matrix usage on the Hammond. He has a lot of his own survivability, which is just being annoying and distracting, and he has his own shield ability that also makes him very tanky. So you don't have to worry about using your defense matrix on him as much as I would focus on using it on other targets. So here, this is one of the things that you're doing really great as D.va, and you're just sticking to this Mercy, and that's the first kind of thing I want to go over. I think that you're doing exactly what you need to be doing as D.va. If you see a target that's easy to bully, for example, this Mercy right here, she has really low health, below half health. At this point in time, you just want to stick to her. And what's really good about D.va's weapon is it's actually kind of a hit scan. I mean, obviously, it's not going to do a lot of damage at a far range, but one of the things about Mercy is if you leave her alone and she doesn't take any damage for a certain amount of time, she starts to heal herself. But one of the things that you can do as D.va is by focusing on this Mercy when she's low health, even at a long range, you will stop her from healing even if you're not doing a whole lot of damage, and then you can keep doing that until your cooldowns are up, and then you could go in for the kill. And that's exactly what you do here, and I really like that. You wait for your boosters, you get your missiles. Actually, you don't use your missiles here. You don't need to use your missiles, but there's also not a reason not to. Missiles is a really strong ability. I think the best way to use there's basically two different ways to use missiles. The first one is ult charge, which isn't something you need to worry about right now because you have your ult already. It's something more you do with downtime. Similar concept to where you would maybe use a flame strike at a door or a Zenyatta volley right click on the door. You would kind of use your missiles in areas to just provide a little bit more chip damage for ult charge. But in this situation, I think that you would want to use missiles actively when you are close to a target. Whenever you are up in melee range, basically with every goal in D.va is you want to boost into a target, because once you're able, really good defense matrix usage on a target who gets flashbanged here, by the way. This is exactly what your defense matrix should be used for. Moments like this, where if your friend gets, or if an ally gets stunned and flashbang in a situation like this, defense matrix just completely saves his life. So really good defense matrix usage. Using your defense matrix on hit scan targets is extremely effective. But anyways, with D.va, what you want to do when diving is you want to use your boosters to fly into the enemy, and as you're flying into the enemy, it'll do damage to them from the boop, and then it'll probably knock them off high ground or something, which is really good, which is what you want to do to contest them. And then you want to use your missiles as soon as you get into melee range, because then it's almost impossible for the enemy to try and dodge the missile damage completely when you're melee range, and your left clicks are kind of going to do more damage too, because they're kind of more like a Reaper, like a shotgun. I mean, they're not as powerful as a Reaper shotgun, but the damage is similar, right? The closer you are to the target, the more damage it'll be, because your D.va left click has a large bullet spread to it. So using your dive ability to try and contest the high ground is really good. The only problem with doing this is that you're doing it alone. As you notice, you don't really have anybody that can go up to the ship with you besides a Hammond, and it's a lot more work for a Hammond to get up to this high ground. I do think that you did a pretty good job. I do think you should get out of there, though. I think you stuck around for a little bit too long. Because your team kind of died here. Although you were contesting a Widowmaker on the high ground, which is really good, the Widowmaker still gets a headshot on the Genji, and I think that's partly because you weren't able to close the gap onto the Widowmaker, and you kind of got stopped because there was a enemy Hammond kind of like in front of the Widowmaker, so it was really difficult. But that's exactly what your job is on D.va. You want to focus on these hit scan targets because your defense matrix is extremely good against them. That's basically what you want to focus on in D.va, is bullying them off the high ground, because you do really well with that. Ideally, you would want something to go with you, because your damage potential, although you have pretty decent damage potential, you have to really connect to the enemy in melee range, or else your missiles aren't going to be that effective. aggressive. You really need to get up right close and personal with D.Va. Similar to how you would get into a melee range. Like, it's basically you want to treat it like Winston. You want to get really close to an enemy target just like Winston does. Using your defense matrix on an Ana is really good. Although the Ana was really low health, I think because you had your Genji who used dash and he was right there trying to help you kill this Ana, I really do think that it was better for you to hold down your right click or your defense matrix, because you have your meter right here, and you had basically full meter. And the Ana was at half HP, right? She's sitting here at half HP, and because of that, you can just defense matrix or Genji so he doesn't get naded, he doesn't get slept, and he can easily just right-click the Ana to death, or even just melee, you know, and be able to take care of her, and he won't have to worry about anything. So using a defense matrix to make it so it's an easier time for your DPS to deal damage is really good. The bomb was for remech. You gotta pick with it. That was really good. Bomb usage is definitely the hardest thing about D.Va, in my opinion. It's really difficult to get really good ultimates with D.Va. I think a really good thing that you can do with D.Va is typically if there's some way that somebody can block it. In this instance, it's going to be a Winston bubble. I think it's very smart to wait for a Winston bubble till you see it, and then try your best. Even use your missiles. Like in this situation, I would have used my missiles just to try and break the shield even quicker. Being able to break the shield and then use your bomb, you have a better chance of your bomb going off if you're able to destroy the Winston bubble before you use the bomb. I do like that you're using your Bunny Blaster to try and destroy the barrier. That's really smart, and ultimately it gets the Hammond because of that. But I would have liked to see the bomb kind of be thrown into the air a little bit more. I think it's usually a lot easier for your bomb to get kills if you're throwing it into a certain direction, even if it's just in the air. But I think ultimately you were looking to try and just get your remech back. So you can use your ults on objectives and points. On overtime, it's especially good. You can throw it into the back line in order to try and contest the enemy supports, or just try to do damage to him because they have a really rough time getting away from bombs, especially like Zenyatta's and Ana's. Lucio's can get away from it usually, but other supports have a really tough time with it. You can even throw it at Mercies. If Mercies are stuck in the air with like Valkyrie or something, then that's a really good time to use it. But the way you used it, which can be pretty good, is basically as soon as your mech dies, you just use your ultimate to try and get your mech back as soon as possible, and then you're able to continue the fight. This can be really good if you die kind of early, but all of your team is still alive, so you're just going to use your ultimate to try and just get back into your mech so you can continue doing more damage and be more mobile, which is really good. I think that's a really good way to play D.Va, but I would also try to get more value out of your bombs. That was a pretty good bomb. I think you kind of messed up the angle a little bit. I think you pushed a little bit into the air, so right here is where you messed up. I would have liked to see you just push it forward in this direction more, but instead you kind of aim it at the ceiling, and, well, not really the ceiling, but you kind of aim it at the ship. And so obviously if you aim it at the ship, it's not going to go up any further, and it's not going to go forward more in this direction, and instead it's just kind of land here and then fall down. It's going to hit the ship, right? So I would have liked to see it if you kind of just went forward with it and you kind of aimed for back behind the point. That would have been good. Another thing that you could have done, could have tried to just predict where the Ana was going to move. So because Ana doesn't really have mobility, you could have tried to just bomb on top of her, or maybe try in the back in the corner, because there's not a whole lot of areas for the Ana to try and hide when you do that. And as soon as you go for that bomb, one of the things that you can do is while she's focusing on running around a corner, you can just use your Bunny Blaster, your like little pistol while you're baby D.Va, and you could try to kill her, which is really, there's a lot of potential to do that when you're using your bomb. Especially if you're using it aggressively, a lot of people will be focused on running away to safety more than anything else, which gives you a good opportunity to actually do damage with your like little pistol, your bunny rifle or bunny gun or whatever it's called. So if you see somebody like a Zenyatta or a Ana or some sort of squishy, vulnerable target. You can maybe even go for a DPS hero. I wouldn't go for a Brig. Brig will just bully you because she also has that shield, so she doesn't care too much about your bomb. But if you're trying to focus on a target like a Ana, I think unless she lands a really good sleep dart, it's very easy for you to just go in and just use your Bunny Blaster and take care of her, especially if you're landing all headshots, because she'll be forced to be like, alright, I gotta either waste time sleeping this person, or I have to try and escape this bomb, and they'll die to one or the other, which is something that you can do. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing that on all targets, obviously not a Brig, or a tank, or probably not a Moira, because Moira will just life drain and probably just fade at the last second as well. So you got to really pick and choose what characters those are good with. So here I'm seeing some pretty good work. I like how you fly through the bubble. I would definitely try to push on this Winston a little bit. I think you need to focus on targets that are lower health. I think one of the things that Hammond wants is for people to be distracted, and I think you definitely are getting distracted with Hammond, and that's not a good thing, because it's really difficult to kill Hammond. I like this bomb, but I think the bomb could have been way better, and I think we've discussed this before, and the problem here with this bomb is that the Winston bubble is still there, and ultimately I think it probably saves some people. I mean, some people I think were able to run behind this pillar when that was happening, or maybe go inside this room. And then you have things like Reaper that had like Wraith form, so it didn't work against them either. And Doomfist, I believe, was heading like right for you when you were doing it, and the Brig Shield. There are a lot of things that can block your ult, actually. So you want to keep in mind what targets your bomb is most effective on. It's not going to work against Wraith form or Fade. Obviously, if it's a hero with a lot of mobility, like a Hammond or Doomfist, it's really difficult for them to get denied by the bomb because they just have so much mobility, they don't care. So in that instance, the person you probably wanted to focus using your bomb on, well, first off, you probably wanted to use your bomb when the Winston bubble was gone, and then secondly, you probably wanted to either use it on the objective to try and push the payload further, because it was more of a, like, last fight situation. Other than that, I would have used it on the Ana, because the Ana has no way to get away. And the Ana is probably the more priority target anyways, since she's the main healer. All around, I think that was a really good round on offense on Gibraltar. So, on defense, we now have a Sombra, Genji, Hammond. One thing to take a note with D.Va is you do want to play with your healer, but I feel like you don't have to worry about playing with your healer as much as something like a Reinhardt, because you have so much mobility. Oh, this is really good if you're able to get that Doomfist. Okay, the Sombra is able to fish them off. Yeah, sticking to a low health target is really good for D.Va. You can just bully people because you have a larger health pool. And if you ever get in danger, you can kind of just use your Matrix. Really good job there, actually. I really liked that. I think you did really well at chasing those people low health. And you get the Doomfist too. That's actually insane. The one thing I would have done differently there is I wouldn't have dealt with the Brig. In this situation, you see your Ana is getting hooked by the Roadhog, and then you flick, you kind of just ignore that, or maybe you just notice you were getting hit by a Brig, and that okay, yeah, you shouldn't have turned around here, though. Really good play in the beginning. You got so many kills. You chased down all those people with low health. That was insane. At this instance, though, you have your boosters come up in a second with your Matrix. I would be helping your Ana here, right? Like the Roadhog's jumping down about the hook and take out your Ana. In this instance, I would be trying to help. I wouldn't be trying to mess with the Brig in melee range. She's kind of overpowered at melee range. You don't have that much health, and you can just use your boosters to go help your Ana, and I think helping your Ana is much better than trying to get this Brig kill. But we'll see how this plays out for you. You get stunned in the middle of your boosters, which is rather unfortunate. Did your Ana die? Okay, no, your Ana stayed alive. Somehow, I don't know how, I couldn't see, but the Genji was able to kill the Roadhog, which is really good. I'm really happy because I was worried for a second for your Ana. That seemed really bad for her. Sombra is actually such an insane pick here, by the way. It's such a hard counter to Doomfist and the, now that's a mistake. I mean, you get a kill with the bomb, but let's go over why this was a mistake. So, you get a nano boost from your Ana, right? And that's, you're not the best nano target, but you're not the worst. I mean, I'd rather have a nano D.Va over a nano Lucio, and I see more nano Lucios than I see nano D.Vas, so what's that say, right? But using your bomb, you just got a nano boost. That amplifies your damage, that makes you take less damage. What you want to be doing here is you want to be boosting into enemies and left clicking them and use your missiles. What you don't want to do is use up all of your booster, land on top of this bridge, and then waste the nano to use your bomb. You could have gotten way more value just being on the front line with the tank and the damage reduction and soaking damage as D.Va than using your ultimate for that kill. I feel like that made the nano completely, like, just worthless. Like, it didn't do anything. So whenever you have nano on D.Va, I guess one thing I should say is if you use your ultimate, then the nano will go away because it's the mech that has the nano. And if you nano a baby D.Va, then she gets into mech, then the nano will go away because it's the baby who gets it and not the mech who gets it. If you have a nano as D.Va, don't use your ultimate unless you really need to do it for maybe a remech purpose. That's the only time I think it would be good. I do like that you tried to like push the mech off the edge, and that is something that you can do with the bomb. You can kind of nudge it in a direction a little bit. I think it would have been better if you were able to nudge it completely off the edge, but either way, I think this bomb, even though you got a kill, I don't like how you wasted the nano at all. I feel like the nano could have been utilized, and then you could have used the bomb, and yeah, it just wasn't a very good nano usage. Being able to just have that tankiness from nano really helps apply pressure to the front line. So here, I would not try to fly into a Reaper. Reaper does too much damage. Defense Matrix is really good against Reaper, especially good against Death Blossom. But right here, I don't like contesting a Reaper. I think Reaper has too much health, he has his Wraith form, and he does too much damage up close, and it's exactly what you want to do as D.Va too. I don't know if that was a misclick or if you just wanted to die. I mean, sometimes it's better. I think that's one thing we haven't talked about. I think getting staggered as D.Va is something that you'll see all the pros do. It definitely happens in a lot of my games. Everybody tries to stagger the D.Va, the baby D.Va last, and something you want to try to prevent all the time as D.Va. I don't think you have to worry about that too much at the lower ranks, but as you get higher in rank, I think it's really a good idea for you to try and minimize staggering the most, the best that you can. And one of the things that you can do is you can try to just basically go and find an edge, an environmental kill area, and just walk off of that as quickly as possible as baby D.Va. If you're not able to do that on, I mean, every map is different. Obviously, if you're on like a map like Temple of Anubis, you're going to be a very sad boy because you can't kill yourself as D.Va, and that's going to be really disappointing because sometimes you just get staggered and there's like nothing you can do about it. And you just got to try, in that situation, you need to try and just use your Bunny Blaster on a squishy target and try to apply as much pressure to a target. Using your bomb here with an EMP is really good because the enemy target, as you can see, you're able to get both the Brig and Reaper, both of which are targets that normally are protected because Brig has her shield and the Reaper has his ghost form, right? And when you have those two things, then you're able to block the bomb, and because EMP stops shields, barriers, escape abilities, fade, wraith form, all that stuff, then your bomb becomes highly effective. So being able to combo your bomb with EMP, Earth Shatter, Hammond Slam, really good uses of the bomb if you have those capabilities, and I always would try to do that as much as possible. So yeah, that was a really good bomb. That was much better than using it with your nano. Here's one of the other uses of the missiles that I was talking about. That was a really good use of it. So you just got done using your ultimate. So obviously one of the things you're trying to do right now is gain more ult charge because there's only 30 seconds left, but every point matters of ult charge. So here, using your micro missiles as like a long range kind of like AoE chip damage to get ult charge can be pretty good. It's not a very long cooldown, and obviously they're not like engaging on you. I would use my missiles here too. Yeah. Just get a little ult charge, bully the Reaper, say, hey Reaper, I know you're there, get out of here. And here I would probably right-click Defense Matrix him and let your team finish him off. He got hacked though, actually, so that's really good. Using your defense matrix on a Brig there doesn't do anything. Brig just melees and doesn't care. I think one thing you should note about D.Va is understand what your defense matrix works on, what it's super effective on, and things that it doesn't work on. I think I might have talked about this already, I'm not sure, but using your defense matrix on a Brig or a Reinhardt does nothing unless the Reinhardt is using Flame Strike. So unfortunately you lose this point. You're gonna definitely have to do a big regroup here. You got staggered a little bit, but I don't think it was like a bad stagger at all. In that situation, it was overtime, so dying on the point is the best that you can do. That's one thing as D.Va, if you're getting staggered or you think you're getting staggered, just try to go to the objective if possible, because the objective makes it so you're contesting it, so they have to kill you sooner, or else they're not going to be capturing the objective. So here you're going to get a bomb pretty soon. I don't know if I would use it here. You have EMP, so I think the fight is won. Using defense matrix on the Hanzo is pretty good. Okay, so you get the nano. I hope you don't bomb here. Yeah, getting in their faces is good. Using defense matrix on Ana is pretty good. Hanzo. Yeah, I like that. That was pretty good. Hopefully your bomb gets somebody. Ah, that's unlucky. I guess they were hiding there. So here, bullying the soldier is also very good. I would try to focus on bullying soldier and Hanzo and Ana. I wouldn't mess with the Brig. The Brig is just gonna, well, be Brig. There's not much you can do there. If you could find the Widowmaker, I would probably bully her first, and then I would go for the Hanzo and soldier second. I don't think it matters which one you want to go on. Probably the soldier. You might not be able to kill the soldier if he's getting pocketed. Going for the Hanzo is a little easier than a soldier because he can't heal himself with the bio heal. Using your defense matrix on a nano soldier is a really big priority. I don't think that's going to be happening, unfortunately. Hopefully your team can clutch this. I don't think there is much else you could do in that situation. Maybe you could get a res or something. But both tanks are dead, so this point might be gone unless your team can really just stall the point, because there's only 20 seconds left in the game here. Oh, that's perfect. Go for the Widow. Go for the Widow. Good work. You got to go for the Widow. That's a huge priority. Here, I would probably be trying to fly around at the Ana and defense matrixing her, because that'll stop her heals from coming out. Big EMP. Going for the Doomfist would be really good in this situation, because once a Doomfist is hacked, he actually becomes killable, which is something that's very rare when playing against a Doomfist. Usually they just don't die. Similar to a Brig. Yeah, use your ult. It's really good. Oh, hopefully you guys can get this. Flying into the mines. No, don't do that. Oh, it's a disaster. Overall, I do think that your team is playing better. I think you could bully the Widowmaker a little bit more, though. Here, I would try to be diving on the Widowmaker. The mine usage by your Hammond was very questionable. Definitely get her before she gets the Mega. Oh, that's unfortunate. So one of the things you could have done differently there is you could have taken note where the Mega Health Pack was and try to deny the positioning for the Widowmaker to even go towards the Mega Health Pack. Basically, you want to put yourself in between the Widow and in between the health pack, so you can take the health pack from her when she decides to go for it. Everybody should probably know about the health packs on every map and where they are, but they should also take especially good note of where the mega health packs are, because those are the best ones, and those are the ones that you need the most, especially as a tank. Okay, using your bomb there was decent. I think I actually would have waited until overtime to do it, though. You get one pick with it, which is good, but I think waiting until overtime would have been much better use of it. You could also have waited to use your mech in a situation. Oh man, those mines just got like 3, including your mech. That's really unfortunate. Hopefully you guys can come back for this, but it looks really bad. Ultimately, I think you should have saved your mech until it was overtime. Used it when there was like 10 seconds left or something, and I think that was a big mistake. Oh, and your Genji doesn't touch it. I don't want to blame that on your bomb, though. I don't think your bomb was bad. It did kill a soldier, but I do think that you could have gotten a lot more value with that bomb if you waited for those 10 seconds for it to go into overtime. And then with that, you could have used your bomb right on payload when everybody on the enemy team had to have been touching it. Getting the pick was good, but I think you could have gotten way more value out of your bombs. So, In summary, with D.Va, things that you should be working on, I think you need to work on your bomb usage, when to use it. That's something everybody can work on. Basically, the trajectory of your boosters and when to bomb and how to deny it. Focusing on people that aren't able to escape from bombs, people like Anna with no mobility is really strong. I think you do a really good job of denying the enemy high ground and focusing targets who are low health. I think you did really well. I think you could maybe use your defense matrix a little bit better. I saw some uses that you used on like a brig, and defense matrixing against an enemy brig does literally nothing. Focusing on your defense matrix on hit scan targets is a must. Using it on things like if the enemy has a roadhog, you're able to defense matrix any of the hook victims, which is a really big thing that you could prioritize as well. Most of all, I would work on your bombs. I think your bomb usage is definitely something that you can improve on. Anyways, that's it for this game. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.